Glad you made it back, everybody. There's a growing movement across the nation, particularly in red states. It's a process known as nullification. What is it, and how can it protect American citizens from the America Last policies being pushed by socialist Democrats in D.C.? Joining me now, New American Magazine and Epoch Times international journalist Alex Newman. Also here with me, American Policy Center President Tom DeWeese. Gentlemen, thank you. Alex, we'll begin with you. Give the audience a primer. What is nullification?
Well, the founding fathers, James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, referred to it as the rightful remedy for dealing with federal abuses when the federal government is going beyond its constitutional powers. It is essentially a state government standing up and saying, no, we will not comply. No, we will not help you disarm our citizens. In fact, we're going to protect our citizens from disarmament. That is just one example. And, probably the best known example of nullification is when the state of Wisconsin refused to help enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. They told the federal government that they would not be sending fugitive slaves back to their masters in the South. And so we have a long history of this in America. It was used by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison to resist the Alien and Sedition Act. And so it's a wonderful tool that states can use and are using to resist federal tyranny. And in fact, the Democrats used it very successfully for 4 years, in some cases not even using proper constitutional means, for example, with the sanctuary states movement. But I do believe now conservatives are starting to understand this, and now we see governors and legislatures all across the country making use of this tool.
Tom, is that how you see nullification? Did we miss anything here in the description?
No, that's absolutely it. And the thing is that you can go about it a couple of ways. The main thing, as Chief Justice Marshall said way back when, was that any law repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. And it really isn't required that states take any action to an illegal or unconstitutional law that's passed by Congress. And, they can put in something into the legislature saying we're not going to back this up. And that makes it easier for some of the people in the local government to deal with it. But basically, they don't have to do anything. Just say, no, we're not going to enforce this. And, that's the end of it.
Yeah. Alex, the South Dakota House has recently passed a nullification bill that addressed Joe Biden's executive orders promoting unconstitutional and lawless behavior that he does. What do you know about the template there being used in South Dakota, and could it be something used by other states?
Absolutely, it could be, and it is being used by other states. We have states all across the United States, Wyoming, Montana, Texas, the state of Florida. All of these are either considering or have already passed legislation, or in some cases, executive orders. We had the governor of the state of Oklahoma instruct all state agencies to resist and ignore these unconstitutional executive actions by Joe Biden on energy. So South Dakota is making progress in this direction, and many other states are as well. It really has been used throughout American history. Democrats and liberals like to pretend that only they get to use it when they want to, for example, smoke marijuana in their states or protect illegal immigrants from deportation. But it works.
Tom, we just brought this up a second ago. Conservatives across the United States, upon reading the Second Amendment to our Constitution, are keen on using nullification to push back on these unconstitutional gun grabs being proposed by these anti-American leftists in Washington, D.C. You think that's a pretty effective use of the nullification provision?
Absolutely. And I think the biggest challenge that we face in doing this is getting state legislators to understand that they have the power to do this. The state legislatures have more power than they really understand in many cases, and they keep thinking that they have to cooperate with the federal government. And if the government passes these laws, that, well, there's nothing they can do about it. And there's a lot of them who think that. But the fact of the matter is that they have these powers and they can stand up to it. And what we're looking at now is to try to find a way to really educate them on that and get them to understand it and begin to take action. We can push back all of this stuff that they've done wrong if the legislators understand their own powers.
Convention of States and nullification could be useful tools confronting this lawless socialist administration. Tom DeWeese, Alex Newman, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Taxes on top of more taxes. Joe Biden is putting America last in the debt department. We break down Biden's radical plans with Trish Regan after the break here on the Chris Salcedo Show, Newsmax TV.